From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Tonight, the nearly 2-year, $13.6 million renovation of the Alberta Bear Theatre is done. Even though COVID-19 is doing its part to crush the arts, here in Billings, a completely renovated theater is ready and waiting for the show to go on. Well, we'll have that story in just a moment, but first, an officer-involved shooting in the Billings Heights sends one man to the hospital. Now, the shooting just before 3 o'clock played out on the 600 block of Claus Circle. That's off of Bench Boulevard. U.S. Marshal Rod Ostermiller tells Q2 as the Montana Violent Offender Task Force was attempting to issue a felony warrant this afternoon, shots were fired, and the 36-year-old suspect was hit. There's no word on his condition at this hour. Ostermiller does not know how many shots were fired, but says no law enforcement officials were injured. Billings police will investigate. We now know the name of a 17-year-old Billings girl killed in a weekend shooting. Yellowstone County Coroner Cliff Mahoney says Daisy Cheyenne Moore died early Sunday morning of a single gunshot wound to the head. Billings police say the shooting happened inside a home in the 800 block of Wyoming Avenue around 5 a.m. Authorities arrested a 17-year-old boy who's being held by Youth Services on a possible homicide charge. Well, in downtown Billings, construction is complete on a multi-million-dollar renovation project at the Alberta Bear Theatre. For now, the COVID-19 pandemic is keeping audiences away, but when the time is right, the theater doors will open again. Q2's Mitch Laggy takes us behind the curtain to bring us the first look inside.
Staff at the Alberta Bear Theatre in Billings just received the new keys to their performing arts facility a few weeks ago. About a year and a half's worth of construction and $13 million later, the facility is complete, but it's not quite ready to show off to the public. The COVID-19 pandemic dashed dreams of a grand opening night in 2020, but for all intents and purposes, the theater is ready for a show once group gathering restrictions are relaxed. The stunning renovations added more room for guest mingling on both the first and second floors, bigger bathrooms on both levels, and the welcome addition of an elevator to make the second floor handicap accessible. Another addition that can be seen from the street are the huge windows that surround the perimeter of the building, allowing for plenty of natural light and a peek at whatever event is happening inside.
The thought behind the design and the openness was we wanted light in here, but more importantly, not only the people enjoying the show being able to see out, but those outside being able to see in and see that something is happening downtown when the theater's lit up and people are in here.
The stage and audience seating got a facelift as well, with 1,400 brand new seats, new lighting and sound equipment, and the construction of new baffles on the walls to better direct sound in the space. Of the $13.6 million in renovations, Dietrich said half went into new theater technology, and the other half went to building infrastructure.
It's amazing. I've had people say, it makes me want to dress up again. I've had people say, you're going to wow the community. The sound is going to be excellent. It's just the feel in the building and the experience that you'll receive will be wonderful.
Dietrich said there's still $250,000 left to raise to completely cap off the new renovation. Staff are selling the rights to put your name on the armrest of one of the theater seats in an effort to raise the remaining money. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
So pretty. Now, Mitch tells us Alberta Bear staff is planning to welcome back guests to the theater with new performances in fall 2021, barring the community overcomes COVID-19. Well, on the COVID-19 front, the state reports nearly 800 new cases this morning, while Montana counties have already seen 11 new deaths since last night. 2 of those deaths reported in Dawson County, while Bighorn County reports another new death this afternoon. The latest victim marks the 51st COVID-related death in Bighorn County alone. Now, Montana's death toll has reached 794, and nearly 500 people are hospitalized tonight. Well, lawmakers in Washington are looking to pass a short-term spending bill to cover COVID-19 relief and avoid a government shutdown this weekend. The House is set to vote on the stopgap measure tomorrow and will likely pass it. It's worth $1.4 trillion and would cover immediate coronavirus spending like vaccine distribution. A $900 billion measure is still on the table for more long-term COVID-19 relief. Well, now turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. Well, today was one for the record books. It was beautiful. How warm did it get?
It's amazing. We set a few records around the state. Let me show you. Now, when you woke up this morning, these were the record high temperatures across the entire state. Now, when you go to bed tonight, you're going to notice things have changed a little bit. Now, in Billings, 66 degrees was our record. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your viewpoint, we did not break that record. But look at places like Miles City, Glendive, all with temperatures in the 50s. And look at the Southwest, Butte, and places like Dillon also into the 50s for afternoon highs. So let me show you what the new records look like. Where we have the new stars, that's where we have new records. So like over at Butte and Dillon, new records there. Livingston, 61 is your new record. Look at Sheridan, 72 degrees today. Yowzer. Over there at Cutbank, they tied the old record, 59 degrees. Actually, no, that just went up to 59. So now they have broken the record. The old record was 58. And so we're looking at a lot of nice stuff. Look at the 69 over at Jordan. So a lot of new records were set today. Your forecast, though, looks like things will cool down a little bit. We'll chat about that coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Bob. Well, no more porta potties or searching for bottled water. Well, that's because water is back on the campus of MSU Billings tonight. This after days of fighting the issue. But as Q2's Andrea Lutz reports, a pandemic might be the perfect time to make major upgrades.
Well, old pipes often break, and that's exactly what's happening here at MSUB, but the dirt is moving and the water is back on. And officials say it really couldn't come at a more perfect time. Things on campus are pretty quiet because of winter break.
We have old pipes on campus and they're going to break, and that's why we do the fix.
And it seems it's been fix after fix for MSU Billings, as water issues have been a constant conversation.
Especially during the times of COVID, but even not, you have to be ready for anything, and we are.
At the beginning of November, campus was closed because of a first water main break. Then the next day, it was back on, but not safe to drink. After repairs were made, it happened again.
On November 30th, we noticed that water was coming outside.
This time at McMullen Hall, impacting the student union and some dorms.
So we started digging and found that there is a cracked water main. There was just a few buildings that we had to shut the water off to. And so for those buildings, we made sure we had porta potties outside.
Finally, after all the back and forth, Brackey says water is back on and
the water is safe to drink. I think this was a great time for this to happen.
That's because school is on break. Renovations were already in the works, accommodating dorms for life in an ongoing pandemic.
And unrelated to the water main, what we were doing over winter break is that we're outfitting a few of our residence hall rooms with flat screen TVs and just more accessories for students who may have to be quarantined this upcoming spring semester.
But if students choose to go outside when they come back in January, they'll find all of this dirt, once again, sidewalk. Reporting in Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
And to just give you a little more perspective, Andrea says students who were living in the Rimrock Residence Hall over the break had to use the restrooms and showers over in Petro Hall, where the water stayed on. Well, today we pause to remember those lost in Billings' deadliest aviation accident ever. A C47 military transport plane crashed on December 8, 1945, with 23 people on board. 19 were killed, including 17 servicemen returning home from World War II battles in Europe. The pilot was unable to make the runway on second pass and crashed into a field near the area that is now Veterans Park. The men on the plane were from Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. Their names are engraved on a plaque that is mounted on the Eagle statue at Veterans Park. Well, today we honor those servicemen who died and the first responders on the scene 75 years ago today. Well, if you happen to see Captain America walking across Montana the next few days, it's not for a Marvel movie. The man in the costume is trekking across the country to help a veteran in need. MTN's Coulter Anstadt explains.
Alan Mullins is on a mission.
I go across the country and I find VFWs, American Legions, or soldiers or people, citizens that need help. And I organize a walk through a GoFundMe or some way for them getting funds, and I go do the walk for them. Right now I'm doing a walk for an Air Force medic that served over 20 years, and it's going to help him get a place to live.
Mullins started his cross-country walk from Washington to Virginia in July and has been raising money for retired Air Force medic Master Sergeant Gary Jorgens for about the past 3 months.
The trailer he has is from the 1950s, and it has multiple types of black molds and stuff. I'm not a vet. I'm just a citizen that loves my country and that loves the ones that served it, and too many of them's falling through the cracks.
As for the costume,
it's a conversation piece.
He's been walking across the country helping people since 2009. Mullins started his day Tuesday with a stop at the Veterans Memorial in Shelby, where he met with some local veterans.
I think during the current times with COVID, one of the things that is really prevalent, especially in the state of Montana, is the amount of veteran suicides. So bringing awareness to veterans that are in stress, I think is very important.
Our government and our system has failed them, but we as people of this country don't have to. And I'm doing my part of standing up and trying to find them and help them out. And all I do is encourage you, if you see a veteran or anyone that needs help, instead of judging them, open your arms and your heart to them and help them.
In Shelby, Coulter Anstad, MTN News.
Thanks so much, Coulter. Up next on tonight's MTN 530 News, right here on Q2, a Billings doctor is remembered tonight after COVID-19 complications claimed his life. We'll take you to the memorial service right after this.